This isn't just another podcast. We're crushing the taboos and we're rewriting the rules. It's the space where we normalize women becoming wealthy. If you're done playing small and ready to become the CEO of your life and the architect of your future, then my girl, you're in the right room. Welcome to your wealthy era. Welcome to the Wellthy CEO Podcast.
I recently had the pleasure to speak with 9 other powerhouse women at the Millionaire Playbook. And today, this episode, I'm bringing the founder, Katie Sampayo, on to talk about business entrepreneurship and how you can thrive. You don't want to miss this. I am so excited today to welcome to the show, Katie Sampayo. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
So this is fun. I always love when I bring on guests that I actually don't really know. And we've had one conversation before and we got connected through another powerhouse female. So right away I said, yes, I need to have Katie on. I want to get to know you better. And you have such an incredible story that I know is going to deliver great value today. And when I think of like your bio, like loaded with achievement and different success, and you've also gone through an incredible life journey. You haven't always been a 7-figure earner. Nobody is. You don't just start there. You've had to grow and build your way through there. And now as like a best-selling author, you're a retreat leader. Bring us back to kind of your journey into entrepreneurship. You know, how did you step into this transition from life into business?
Well, I was a business major in college, so I always knew I wanted to do business. And my biggest mentor at the time was my uncle. So he is the only other millionaire that I know of in my family is my uncle. And he started a nurse calling business over in the Philippines. Crazy enough. And he also has a publishing company. So I interned for him in college and picked his brain because as a business major, you got to do all this extra stuff. You got to do the presentations and the internships and all the things. And I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew from a very young age that I wanted to work for myself. And I never liked anyone telling me what to do. And maybe it's because I'm the oldest. Maybe it's because I'm a Leo. I don't know.
It's definitely a combination.
Things, right? I like being in charge. I like running the show, you know. But I didn't know exactly, like most of us, we don't know what's the thing that we're going to launch. And there's actually been many things that I've launched over 15-ish years now, being an entrepreneur, when I really think about it. But it really just started with like what lit me up. So I did the traditional route. Like I went to school, I did the business thing, got the degree, and I still didn't know, like, okay, I'm just going to go start my own business. No, I didn't know. So I took a normal job in corporate. I worked for a subprime lender with like 27% interest rate loans.
Crazy. Doesn't that make today look like a bargain?
I know, right? Yeah. Crazy. And I only took that job because the person who I would be working underneath, I was like, this woman is a boss babe. Like, she is so incredible. She's powerful. I wanted to mentor under her. I wanted to learn from her. She then became the second most impactful mentor of my life. And she was only a year and a half older than me and just was crushing it. So intuitively, I knew like this wasn't where I was going to stay. I just felt this connection with this woman that I knew I could learn so much about that would give me the confidence and hopefully the clarity, which is what happened, to go launch something. So I worked for them for about a year and a half, and that's exactly what happened. So first, she quit to start her marketing and branding company, which has grown to a 7-figure company, which is amazing. And then I quit right after her to do my own thing. And I had already started to build my brand up while I was there. And I decided that I wanted to enter the health and fitness world first. So that's where I started. I became a personal trainer at my local gym. I started teaching fitness classes after work. I actually spearheaded a wellness initiative at that headquarters as well, where I was in charge of the employees. There was about 150 employees there. Like, I put them on an eating plan, I put them on a fitness plan, and I did the whole thing actually for free because I just wanted to test the waters. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like every day after work teaching fitness classes downstairs. I got the CEO to give me $1,000 that I could invest in for equipment and mats and stuff like that for us. I just saw a huge problem that I wanted to solve, where everybody who came into that office seemed really miserable, low energy, unhappy. And then I saw how they were treating themselves and what they were eating for lunch. I was like one of the weirdos who packed my lunch, right? And made my lunch, brought it in, and it was all healthy. And I was like, this is the problem. I was like, nobody's taking care of themselves. And this company didn't have any initiatives for that, right? So that was kind of like my step into entrepreneurship, I would say, because I created that whole wellness program there myself. And like, it was me dipping the toe in before I took the big leap to and just got my bearings, like, okay, I really love this. Okay, I care way more about this than my actual job. Like, this excites me way more. I built my website, I built my blog, I did all of this. I got the certifications when I was there, all within the year and a half. And as soon as I got the last certification, which was to be like a certified personal trainer at my local gym, I quit immediately and I went into that. And that is the version of entrepreneurship as well, because there was no paycheck. It was completely commission based. You either sold training or you didn't. So you either made or you didn't. And I became one of the top trainers in the gym in the first 90 days, never having even done it before or having any experience. And I had already 4 times X'd my income there within 6 months.
And what's the context for time? Like, how long ago is this in your journey?
Oh, geez. I was 20.
Okay.
So I'm 34, about to turn 34 now. So about 14 years ago.
14 years ago. So, and as I said at the beginning, this is our second time connecting, Katie and I, live. And I learned a fascinating thing about you, that you are I call a world citizen. You are a traveler, a nomad. And what you're sharing right now sounds very planted and localized, like being in one place, growing your database of clients that are physical. And so at what point for you did you say, okay, this entrepreneurship thing, I'm loving it, I'm 4Xing my income already? When did your vision start to come in to say, I could actually grow this larger if online? And did you ever have this aha moment that you actually don't need to be in one place in order to make money or to grow and scale your business?
Oh, yeah. So there's a couple pieces to that. First, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, which was not a place I wanted to stay.
Sure. Don't blame you, kind of.
Yeah, like, there's nothing here for me, I just didn't know where else to go, right?
Yeah.
I never traveled outside of the United States until I was 20 years old, until I graduated. So once that started happening when I was 20, then moved into that career, and I had my first international boyfriend. So that was also part of me doing my own thing, because, he had off in Europe, I don't know, 8 weeks a year, right? I had off 2. That's it. And Greece is a really far flight. So then I started internationally traveling, and I got frustrated that I wasn't able to live the life that I really wanted. So that I was already noticing that when I was 20, because I met him when I was 20 on my first trip to Europe. And then I dated him the whole time that I was in that career. And part of me leaving was like, I wanted to see him more. I wanted to have a different kind of relationship. I was sick of it. But so I already started to see that people were living life a bit different. Like, once you get out of the United States, you get out of, at least for me, when I got out of the United States, when I got out of my bubble of Baltimore, Maryland, where everyone's literally doing the same exact thing. They're going to work, going to a 9-to-5 job. They're coming home. They're going for a walk around the neighborhood. They're watching TV. They're getting a drink of alcohol or something, and they're going to bed. It's just so boring. I was already bored when I was 20. I read the book, The 4-Hour Work Week.
I know it. Yes, of course. Yep.
that launched a lot of things for me, because then he's talking about how you can have a virtual assistant over in the Philippines, which I built a whole team of Filipinos in my company up to this point. And he just started, like, this book actually was something that started to show me what was possible. I started to see it when I was traveling, but then I read this book as well. And I just remember that was like a big book for me. That's when I hired my first virtual assistant before I was even really making anything, and that's when I decided that I was going to launch an online product. So I started a 30-day mind-body transformation program, and I launched it. And I was so excited. I had a business background already, marketing, but I hired my first coach in order to do that, to teach me how to build funnels and all the things. And I set it all up in 90 days, launched it. I had 60 something people sign up for it. And I was like, oh my, it's happening. I'm going to be able to work remote, right? Then I went to launch it again. Well, I didn't have a lead generation system. So then 30 people signed up. Then I went to launch it again, 20 people signed up. And I was like, crap, I need a lead generation system, or this isn't going to keep going. So I kind of freaked out. I went back into personal training at the same time. It was like, okay, this isn't going to work. I said, what can I do? I got to launch a digital product. That's actually when I wrote my book. It's when I wrote my #1 best-selling book. It's like, I got to have something duplicatable that can just be sold all the time. That's going to change lives. And it was the nutrition piece. And I was like, man, people need to hear it. So then I started that. And that was just like the beginning of exploring the online world. And I launched that, and it became a #1 bestseller in 10 different categories on Amazon in an hour. And it really marked for me. I said, when I launch this book, I'm going to leave the United States. So it created a timeline for me with that. And then what happened a little bit right before that, that's part of this, I was determined to go to Bali and get my yoga certification, which I did. It's been on my vision board for 2 years in a row. I got targeted by a Facebook ad from this girl, and I was like, and it was in the middle of me writing the book. And every mentor at the time, not the two I'd already mentioned, but other ones, were like, oh no, that's irresponsible. You can't do that. You can't go to Bali and do this right now. You're trying to launch this book. Does it make any sense? And I said, I don't really care. This is what I want to do. And I listened to my intuition. I got on the plane, and that was really, I'd already started to like envision it a bit, but then I landed in Bali, where there's a ton of digital nomads, like more than I'd seen in Europe when I was traveling through Europe. And then I started working on my book remote, like really doing the work remote. And I was like, oh, wow, this is nuts. And I remember I met this one girl at a coffee shop in Bali. It was like at the end of our day when we had some free time. And I'm friends with her still to this day. It's pretty crazy. And she took off. She started making videos on Instagram and is like, millions of followers. I met her, like, we were just talking shop in that coffee shop. And we both were talking, like, we're going to do this. We're going to be different. We're going to make it. And it's so cool to see that
you have.
This is happening.
Yes. Yeah.
I just saw one of her viral videos last night on Instagram. I'm like, girl, I remember we were talking when nothing was happening with both of us back then. And that's like, I just was surrounded by so many people that were doing the work more than I'd seen before, that I was like, all right, now for sure, this book is going to mark me leaving. And I made the decision that I was going to get out of my lease. So I had a townhouse with 2 girlfriends downtown in Baltimore City. And I said, I don't want to be stuck in a lease. Like, I just want to be able to go. So on that trip, I had told the girls that when I came back, I was going to cut the lease. And, we're already talking about it anyways. So I just started to live kind of homeless. This is when it started. Right then, I was staying in my friend's spare bedrooms, I think I moved into 3 or 4 different houses over the next year. So I didn't get stuck in a lease. And then on top of it, oh God, there was like something else that I don't know. I just totally blanked, but I was already, I didn't date. So on that, I went through a horrible breakup. When I was in Bali getting my yoga certification, I saw the guy cheating on me online.
Oh no, that's horrible.
I was a mess, but it was good that I was halfway across the world, because it was a toxic relationship, and it's finally the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, it's finally like, because we worked together at the gym, right? So we kept falling back into it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, good. We're like separated for 2 months. I took 2 months to do that trip. I traveled through Thailand by myself and everything after. And then I decided in that moment too, I'm like, I'm sick of giving my power away to someone else, because I kept doing that in that relationship. I kept not hitting my goals as strong as I wanted because I was so worried about the relationship all the time. And that trip, there's just so many things that happened. I was like, I'm not letting anyone stop me from getting out of here. And I'm not going to date anybody until I move, because I don't want to stay here. So why am I going to start dating somebody who lives in Baltimore, Maryland? And then I feel like I would get stuck.
Sure.
But I really don't want to be. So there was a lot of, that was the most, I'd say the most driven, the most intense, the biggest year of my life. Like, I got so much stuff accomplished. I mean, I wrote the book in 6 months. I launched a TV show as well. I pitched it to ABC. I got it, then I redid the book and did a Kindle version relaunch, and I did 2 book launches and all this. It was just like the most productive year of my life.
It sounds it.
Yeah, like focused on myself. And I was so determined with the vision that I was going to get out of there. And then eventually, it took me about a year later, I did. And of course, life has a funny way of showing up. So as I'm about to leave, I had my going away party. I raised $1,000 for a local Baltimore charity to feed the homeless healthy food. That was my going away party. I loved it. It was great. And then I went skateboarding, because I'm like, oh man, this Baltimore company made me a custom skateboard deck with my logo and all this stuff. And I was like, I got to ride it. I got to rip. So I went with one of the guys to the skate park, and I said, oh, I'm going to learn to drop in ramps. Completely got the worst injury of my life. I sprained my ankle so bad I couldn't walk. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not leaving the country yet. I guess there's something that I get to stick around. It's just funny how life works.
Totally. Well, and it sounds like Bali for you was kind of your eat, pray, love moment, right? You had a breakup. You went from breakup to breakthrough. Bali, I mean, hi, that's in the movie, right? But more so falling in love with entrepreneurship and business and growth and self-development, all of the things that you set out to do. And sometimes you got to be stepping outside of your comfort zone, which oftentimes, it's why when you go back home, it's funny. You wouldn't know this about me probably, but I left home when I was 18. I moved to Hawaii myself to start my university education. And I didn't live at home for over 7 years. And, when you come back, you're like, everything is the same here. The same people from high school they're going to the same restaurants, the same bars, they're doing the same stuff. And it's because you're still in this comfort zone. You have no reason to grow because you're not being challenged in any way. But it doesn't surprise me hearing that you went to Bali, a foreign country, a place you've never been, and all of a sudden things are starting to move and happen for you, and you're making the relationships and the connections. And so when you look back, would you say really Bali was that catalyst for your business and where you are today?
That was the biggest one. It was also the first time I'd ever traveled by myself.
Which is a huge thing. I say to people all the time, it's not fun. It can get fun, but the first trip is not fun. It's uncomfortable, right? And I've done that enough. And I say to people, you've got to do at least 3 to 5 solo trips. They don't have to be long, a week. You don't have to go for a month by yourself. Don't start there anyways. Start with a week and be uncomfortable. And if it makes you feel any better, bring your laptop to the bar, go sit at the bar, do work. But little by little, you really start to push your own limits. You start to see where you're uncomfortable, where your insecurities are. Why do I feel that way? Why can't you just go and sit somewhere by yourself, or just even being in silence? How many people can't actually sit with themselves, especially today? Leave your phone, leave the people, right? Hey friend, if this conversation is speaking to you, please do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It's how we grow the show, reach more women, and build a future where Wellthy is female. This isn't just content. This is an invitation to a new society for women. Let's rise and build it together. So Katie, let me ask you, you've done the solo trips as well. And as much as they're uncomfortable, that's usually where the biggest lessons come from. So in your experience with these solo trips, what were your life lessons or your business lessons that came out of that?
Well, for sure, it was to trust myself. That was huge because I had so many people telling me not to do it, that it didn't make any sense, this or that. And I knew in my gut, for me, it was just part of my path. Like it didn't make logical sense. And that's actually how I've become a great entrepreneur. Most of the decisions that I make as an entrepreneur, people making millions and billions of dollars, it doesn't make sense to the outside world, the decision.
Totally.
Just doesn't. Like, they don't get it. They can't comprehend it. Like, it's like, you have a book to write, so why are you going to go to Bali? And it's like, because I know that this is what I meant to do. And actually, it even confirmed it more when I was there, because I started to write the book before I went. I ripped it to shreds. I got so much clarity, so much energy, so much abundance like came to me in my life that would never have been created where I was in Baltimore. Inspiration that I ripped the book to shreds and I rewrote it in 30 days. Whole No, I swear, because I came back in January, like the first week in January. I launched the book February 14th on Valentine's Day, because I also did a launch where I donated $1,000 to the American Heart Association.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I have a pressure. I got about 40 days to write this book from start to finish and completely start over. I was so lit up and so inspired and just so like on fire from, like, you can't predict sometimes logically what you're going to get out of an experience. This is like the lesson, like, you just lean in and you trust your gut and you trust your intuition and you stop looking for validation externally.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's when I really started to step into my power, I feel like, and I just kept seeing the results of, wow, when I say yes, when I feel connected to the yes, even if people around me are saying, don't do it, trust me, and that's built my company, and I have so many mentors and coaches that I'm grateful to have in my life. I've also just gotten way better at hiring people and taking advice from people who are really aligned and on my path. Because when I look back at the people that were saying don't go, I'm like, but I don't want a business like them.
Right. Yeah. And don't you find too that oftentimes it's out of love, right? That most people, they're sitting in their own comfort and it's for quote unquote, like your safety. Like they're trying to protect you from what they think might be failure or wrong decisions. But oftentimes when people are saying that to you, you actually know you're on the cusp of something great. Like when people are going, I don't know, it sounds to this or it sounds to that, or your dream's too big, or that idea sounds too outlandish. For me, it's usually, not always, but it's usually translated into going, okay, I'm doing something that's going to stand out. I'm doing something that is going to be different, which as a leader in entrepreneurship, you need to be that. You've got to be the one as a trailblazer and setting trends, setting new offerings, right? And so usually it's like those people around you, and they're oftentimes family, good old longtime friends that are saying these things to you, where when you hear that, you're like, okay, I just got to go fucking do it. Like I've got to go and try this. And like you said, leaning into your own intuition and trusting yourself and also betting on yourself. So many of us don't take the risk on ourselves, yet we'll work for somebody else and help make their dreams come true and help make them money rather than taking the risk on yourself.
Yeah. Like you get to a point where if you're not willing to do that, good luck being an entrepreneur. That's all it is. Right. You're constantly betting on yourself. So it's also getting really comfortable with risk, which equals getting really comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's actually my threshold now. Like, I look at my goals every year and I ask myself, am I making myself uncomfortable? And if I'm not, then I'm playing way too small, and I'm probably just going to have a similar year to last year. And my intention every year is that I get to look back and my year looks completely different than the year before.
Right.
Otherwise, I know I didn't challenge myself enough. And that's why I've kept this lifestyle up, living this nomadic lifestyle, because it's constantly teaching me lessons. This is why I surf, went surfing for 2 hours this morning, because I'm constantly challenged. I'm constantly uncomfortable. I'm constantly leveling up. I'm speeding the process of that up by consistently putting myself into situations. And that's also what I learned when I went to Bali in that trip. Like, I'd been to Europe. It wasn't that uncomfortable. Okay. Pretty much everyone spoke English. It was very familiar. I remember the first time that I saw, oh my gosh, what is it? Like, oh God, a bidet.
Yeah.
A bidet toilet, right? I was like,
yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that thing? I saw that in Italy, I remember. And I was like, that's a little weird. But for the most part, things looked pretty familiar. People could speak English. Going to Bali was happening.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I saw a scooter with like 6 people on it.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
No shoes, no helmets. Like, it was so out of my comfort zone, on the top of me traveling all the way there by myself and doing it, something that everyone told me not to do, I was like, wow, if I keep doing this, I'm going to grow at like warp speed. And that's literally, I haven't stopped traveling since. I literally haven't. I built my whole life around every few months. It's not as often as it was because I'm a bit more grounded now. But like, I'm going to new places where I don't know how to get around, which is very uncomfortable. I don't know where to buy food. I don't know where the gyms are. I don't know how to rent the car. I don't know the language. I don't understand the currency. I'm dealing with Wi-Fi issues, you freaking name it. And it's like, I get frustrated, and then I come back to my reason for doing this, and I become such a stronger person on the other side. And I learn how to manage my emotions. Like, I'll get frustrated for a second now, and then I just get over it, and it's really helped me run a company where there's constant breakdowns, the team, someone's sick, or the link to the landing page, it broke, or not as many people signed up as we thought were going to sign up, right? Or, the offer flopped or whatever, right? Like, that's business. So I think the lifestyle really allows me to be stronger in my business because I have this level of emotional regulation and resilience where I just keep it going. I don't get stuck in it.
Well, and I think one of the things that's coming up for me as you're speaking is thinking of remaining uncomfortable throughout your business so that you're constantly learning and you're growing to new levels. But one of your I would say one of your core values as a person, but also in your business, is this word and this notion of thriving. And this is part of your path forward today, is helping entrepreneurs and high achievers really find not just balance, but learning how to thrive in their life. And I would love for you to just share a little bit about that, because I know you have a 7-pillar framework completely around this that you coach entrepreneurs through. So just share with us a little bit what that is.
Yeah, it's the foundation of the company. It's the foundation of my life. And when I thought about, I was just so clear at a young age, the word thriving stuck out to me. And that's why I built the company. My book was named Eat to Thrive. Everything started to revolve around this word, because I'm like, what's like living exceptional?
Right.
Well, it's not surviving. What's the opposite of surviving? That's exactly what I want to do. I want to do the opposite. Oh, it's,
love it.
There it is. Now that's my compass, right? Am I thriving? Yes or no? So I'd be like, well, how can I help other people be able to tap into this for themselves? And that's when I created the framework of the 7 pillars. So it doesn't matter what program you're in with me. This is our foundation. This is what we use to monitor success. every single month. So it's really simple too. It's not like super complicated or something completely unheard of. I break down these 7 different areas of life, and it's a self-assessment check-in that we go through every month to understand, are we on track to thriving, or are we getting back in survival mode, coasting mode? And super quick, the categories are mindset mastery. I was like, okay, I'm mastering our mindset. We're absolutely not thriving. Mindset mastery, relationships, so important. So we break relationships down to relationship with yourself, family, friends, and then intimate. So 4 levels, but they're not all the same. Then we have health and wellness, super important. If you're exhausted, if you're sick, well, you're probably not living your purpose out in the world or spending the quality time you want with your family, right? So, and then we have fun and adventure, which is very unique to me. I mean, I prioritize that like every single day, not just a couple weeks a year where I can escape. Like, no, it's built into the foundation of daily life. So we have that. Then we have spiritual connection, because I think that's important. And to me, that doesn't equal believing in God. Put whatever you want on it. It is connected to your intuition and believing in a source that is bigger than yourself.
Right.
So I encourage everyone to find what that means for them. That really helps with making decisions and trusting yourself. And then we have financial freedom. Financial freedom. That's the newest pillar that I added in, because
I love
money
is
important.
Super important.
It is. Like, I'm not going to pretend I'm not, I love being able to live the life that I can with ease.
Absolutely.
That's what that equals to me. Put your own dollar amount on it. It doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire. That's just what I'm choosing,
Yep.
And then the last one is passion and purpose. Passion and purpose. If we're not living a purpose-filled life, we're probably not jumping out of bed in the morning. We're just going through the motions every single day. Our energy's probably low, right? So you're not magnetic then.
Yeah.
So those are the 7 pillars that we dive into very deep when we do work together in my programs. And we want to get it where we're in 8, 9, or 10.
Yes.
That's the goal. It's the intention. And that then ultimately we're thriving, because it's not just one area of life. It's not just make a bunch of money and you're thriving. We all know that's true. We've all made a lot of money at some point, and we've been miserable doing it, probably because we were.
Yeah. And I mean, you look and you hear of many different billionaires and millionaires around the world who have endless deep pockets, and yet they commit suicide because they're so unhappy. They're so unfulfilled. So, and then there's, the flip side of that is that money doesn't buy happiness. And that is true. It's an amplifier. That's what I always say about money, is that if you're already a person who's not content, having more money is going to just make you that much more uncontent, right? It's an amplifier of what you currently already are. However, I do also say with money that, money doesn't buy happiness, but it certainly buys freedom. And it allows you to then invest in other things that make your life easier, that actually bring you more enjoyment, can elevate your joy, and your state of being can be elevated through that. Money is a tool. It's a tool, it's an amplifier. And so when you hear people going, oh, money isn't everything, I think that's such a coined phrase that has brought so much destruction to so many people. Because when you understand the frequency that all that is money, right? You look what's happening right now with Bitcoin in the world. We are transferring energy of value that we've said, this paper money that should have been backed by gold, that's no longer backed by gold, but in theory, that's what it was. But we've said fiat currency has value, and now we're placing it on something else. So you're seeing the shift taking place. But, when you start to understand the frequency and how to use it, it's not this bad, horrible thing that so many people have a money narrative that's negative around finances, around money. So I'd love to tap actually into that a little bit with you. Did you ever have to work through a money narrative to bring you into the wealth that you've established for yourself today?
Every time I want to make more money, there's another one to work through.
Sure.
Yeah. Like it's just another level of it, right? I mean, I think it really started, I always felt like, you know what's weird? I never had a problem talking about money. You know, some people are really uncomfortable. I never did. I'm like, why is everyone so weird about it? You know, like, how much do you make? Well, I'm not comfortable telling you that. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Care. You know what I mean? Like, so I actually never had that. More so and this is what I've always worked. This has been my work, is that I saw my father, an immigrant from Puerto Rico, worked, right? Growing up dirt poor, living on the streets in Harlem. And he works to this day 6 days a week.
Wow.
8 to 12 hour days, full commission. Okay. And I got my work ethic from him, but I had this limiting belief that in order to have money, you've got to like sacrifice the things that matter most to you. You got to sacrifice your health. You've got to I barely have memories of him being on a vacation with us. Like we usually go without him because he was working.
Yep.
Okay. So he wasn't really around. I really didn't have a relationship with my father. He was a provider. And to this day, he has it drilled in his head that this is what I've got to do to be a good dad and to be a provider, because he has a second family now.
Okay.
And he, it's like I had that, like I was sacrificing a lot at the beginning of my career, working ridiculous hours, just always making it hard. It was like, if it wasn't hard, then it wasn't good enough.
Right. Right. Or maybe not even deserving. Like if it came any other way, you didn't actually earn it, deserve it. Instead of ease and flow, right? Which is a great thing. It's the opposite.
Completely. So it's actually like the masculine drive. Like I've been working so much over 7 years of tapping more into my feminine energy. I'm still a driver, but like I get to receive, it gets to be fun. It gets to be easy. And I'm not afraid of hard work, but I don't need to work 12 hours a day to have what I want in my life, and I really want to have it all. I want to have a great family. I want to surf every single day, which I do. I want to be in incredible shape, which I am, like I want to have great relationships, which I do, like, all the things. So I really had to recondition my brain, and I'm still constantly doing it, where I don't fall back into that trap where I don't even turn off, right? You just like on autopilot all the time, going.
Well, I love that you have basically the polarity of sacrifice that you grew up with, this money mindset narrative that you had. And today, one of your pillars being fun is, I would say, like the healing polarity to that, right? And healing that narrative, and that money can be fun, and it should be, right? Like life is too short. And this is where I always say you can always make money. Once you understand it's a frequency, once you understand it's just energy, that it can be fun. And I actually, money loves attention. So if you are having more fun, naturally you're going to be a magnet to that. It's going to start to just come to you, right? And the more fun you're having. And I love how you're saying, I want to be able to surf and enjoy my relationships and not have it doesn't have to be this sacrifice, or just doing things that you don't want to do in order to make $1, in order to be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's been the biggest level up, for when I think about when I made my first 6 figures. I did my first year starting this company. I did like my first year I made $194,000,
which is amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Great.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man, I am killing myself. I just remember thinking like that, like even then the next year I doubled it. I made like 375 the second year. And I was like, damn, I'm still killing myself. And I was like, okay, I think it was right when I was going to double that, because every year I have a goal to double my active income. I was like, all right, I'm not working. I'm like, yeah, the business is working, the systems are working, but I just know that I'm going to start resenting my business.
Right.
Keep doing it like this. And because I was just hustling through it.
Yeah.
Hustling through.
So talk to me a little, because this is interesting. So you're growing your business, you're almost doubling your numbers like a few years in a row. And it obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, I'm going to assume at some point it's not just the Katie show. You're starting to implement teams and structure. And I think for a lot of people in starting out as entrepreneurs, when they start having this growth, they don't necessarily have a whole game plan or a business strategy around it. And this is where people either get stuck and then they lose business that's on the table and it can actually dissolve their company, or they can't manage the growth. And so they're always at this ceiling where they're just like hitting it, but they can't break through. And I hear this a lot, even just in real estate, of a lot of agents that end up joining our team because they're like, I've got all of these clients, but I actually don't know how to scale. I don't know how to grow beyond myself. And so for you, at what point did you start to say, I need to learn automation? I need to bring on actually physical people. So if you can just take me behind the scenes a little bit, open up there.
I mean, that's like my biggest priority focus this year. This is how I'm at 7 figures because of this.
Right.
Complete shift onto team. But really, like, last year was the first year that I really had a big, my word of the year in 2024 was team. So I have a word of the year, and the word of the year in 2024 was team. And that's when things popped.
Right.
And before that, I had a virtual assistant, right? I had one virtual assistant who I was constantly frustrated with, who I was constantly firing. So it was about every 2 to 3 months, the person would be gone. Right. And I was rotating. It was like the worst year of my life in business. I remember that's when I was on that 375, right? Like trying to break through. I'm just blowing through team. It seems like everybody sucks. I'm just like, man, I know it's possible. I see people doing it, but I don't understand how to hire good people. And guess what? I didn't know how to lead them either. So I didn't know how to pick them, interview them. I didn't know how to lead them. And I had no systems and operations. So everything was always a disorganized mess. And then you have that many people in and out. You're exhausted training someone the same thing over and over again. Then they keep doing things their own way. And it actually makes a big mess. Right. So last year, I was like, the word of the year is team. There's no way I'm getting to 7 figures unless this happens.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I ended up having like over 10 people work for me last year. Like in the company, I went from like one virtual assistant to that in a year.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about 10xing.
Literally, right? I just started to let's parse it out, okay, obviously I got to have a strong right hand, but I got to have someone who's handling tech. And then I knew for me to grow and scale the company, I needed to stop doing the one-on-one calls in the program.
Right.
And that's when I started hiring coaches. So I hired 4 coaches last year and I started training them. And then they started working underneath of me in the programs to take the one-on-one calls. So that freed up a bunch of my time. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I started to build a sales team last year, for the first time ever. Like figuring out that whole thing, how to lead a sales team and find salespeople and create goals and not make it salesy, because I'm all about enrollment. And we say we're saving lives, we're changing lives, and we are. And figuring that whole thing out and creating systems and procedures and SOPs. And like last year was the year of SOP, It was the year of finally creating departments in the company. I hired my copywriter, first ever copywriter last year. I hired an operations manager last year. It was like everything was just, I hired a Facebook ads team last year. It was just like, let's go. Right. I'm so sick and tired of doing things the way that I've been doing them. And I got to get over this lack of trusting other people thing.
Totally.
Yeah, delegation, it's a very powerful thing. And it allows you to stay in your zone of genius, right? You're not meant to be able to do all of the things, So if you delegate and put that on somebody else, it allows you to then use your word, thrive in your zone of genius, which actually translates to more revenue coming into your business.
Oh yeah, it's a night and day difference. And there's no way, like, what I really have implemented over the last year too, because of that, is something called a flex week, which is what I'm on right now, which means that during flex week, I'm not taking coaching calls at all.
Right.
I don't take sales calls, even though I don't really take them anymore anyways. And it's not that I don't like to do it. It's just, I want to have a life. I want to go. So tomorrow, all day, I'm going surfing. I'm going to be at the beach all day with no cell phone service. It's going to be wonderful.
I love that. Now, do you do flex weeks in when you have, let's say, which you do, and we can chat about this as well. Is this intentional when you have an event coming up? Is this just because you put 1 week on the calendar? How are you orchestrating that?
The last week of the month, every month.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. Which then allows you to come out fresh for the new month.
Exactly. And then I can plan a big trip around that, like one where I'm really off the grid. Maybe I don't have cell phone service, right? Because I like to go surfing and travel to these remote places, and that's stressful. Like if I'm like, I gotta be on a Zoom call, or I gotta go in, like it really affects your experience. So now I just built it in my life. I'll still work like 2 days typically of the flex week and just do things with my team and get on some meetings, like do podcasts, do things that are actually fun that I like to do. Like, this is fun to me. I want to do it. I like to do it. And I don't have anything else around me today.
Yes,
like
I love that.
I get to be present with you and be in my best energy and, all the things. And so it's not like I just check out. It's just, I get to work on more of my creative processes, more of the, like, I get to do the bigger picture thinking. I do get to go check out a little bit and have fun and read books and study. Like, this is the week that I read. This is the week that I study.
Which this is your week, which I'm going to adopt this. I have a day out of every month. I call it my CEO day, where I'm working on my business and not in the business. But you've taken this and you're elongating it into a week, and I like it. It's called Flex Week, And so that allows you, from a bird's eye view, just exactly what you're saying, like tying up loose ends. Are you meeting your goals? Where do you have to still move the needle in order to meet whatever you're trying to do for each of the quarters that you're in? And then exuding and bringing in some more creative juice and, recalibrating, right? That's like what you're doing for yourself. So I love that. So Katie, okay, this is kind of great because you have Flex Week, you're taking some time for yourself. And then next week, you've got a great event that is launching on June the 6th that I have the honor and privilege to be a part of. And so I'm really excited for that. It's called the Millionaire Playbook. Let's segue into that. Tell me, what is it? And how, are you doing this again? Like, if you missed June 6th, is there another one coming up? Is this something regular? Just share with us a little bit about the Millionaire Playbook.
So the Millionaire Playbook was created from a big vision at the beginning of this year to bring more high, powerful, purpose-driven women together to level up and ascend in the feminine way, through collaboration, through receiving. Because it's been one of my work for I think I said 7 years, right? So, and whenever I see that there's a gap, I didn't find enough spaces like this to learn from people that were doing really big things, even to accelerate success and again, the feminine way, where it's not so hard, where it gets to be a fun day, where we're celebrating together. And that's why I built this event. So it's a panel of all millionaire 7-figure plus women that are coming together to share their secrets to success. And it's targeted for female entrepreneurs who want to live purpose-driven, freedom-based lifestyles. And they want to create massive wealth and impact and do it without sacrificing the things that matter most. Because
I love that.
That's what I want away from, seeing that with my dad. So I have a big mission to help entrepreneurs. And that's also what I do in my company, to help them. Whatever goal you want to hit, first of all, you get to be able to create it, and you get to do it in a way that you're going to love. That's you keep going with it. So that's going to happen on the 6th. It's a powerful day. We have 6 hours of incredible sessions with 10 different experts that are coming in, including Shae here. And we will do another one. We will do one in September. We've been making a little series out of it because it's just been so awesome, so impactful. We've helped thousands of women at this event. And it's just been so much fun. Everyone's on fire after that. They're crushing it, and I mean, this is the kind of stuff that adds value to my life. This gets me out of bed in the morning, seeing the transformations that happen from people getting together like this.
And one of the best parts is, you can only imagine, it's par for the course. This is a virtual event. So no matter if you are in Costa Rica or if you're in Canada, the US, or you're over in the UK, you can join us. And Katie, you've also graciously made this free, which is pretty wild. I've been a part of these before where you have had to pay to play, pay to learn, which is also good because you're investing in yourself. And I really believe there's a time and a place for that. But this is a no excuse zone, right? This is a free event. So, definitely get plugged in. We're going to put all of the contact information. The registration will be in the show notes. So we make it really easy for you to be able to tune in. And then if you miss or not able to join on the 6th, how awesome that you'll be able to start Q4 with some wisdom that you can interject into your business as well, no matter which stage, right, Katie? This is kind of for who's the ideal woman that would be attending this, would you say?
It's definitely the woman who, like you've been bouncing, you're wanting to grow and scale. There's a lot of people that you want to make this transition out of a career that's not serving you, and you're not really sure how to make the leap. And then it's also for women who have been in the career for a while that they feel good with. They just don't understand how to unlock the next level of it. Like they're feeling stuck with growing and scaling. They're in the growing pains. Like I explained how I was, and they're wanting to really understand, okay, how do I start to enjoy this a lot more? How do I double my income this year and really get into a great relationship with a partner as well? Or, go on this big trip that I've always dreamed of and actually be able to enjoy it and not worry about my company breaking down when I'm there. Right. Yeah. Like it's for anybody who wants to have a business and live a great life. And you can be at the beginning, or you can be more established, making multiple 6, even 7 figures, and come to this. And you're going to have so many golden nuggets that you're going to take away that will make you just need to hear like one thing. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yes.
And just launch. It could change everything for whoever is like hearing that 1 or 2 things for the rest of the year. Like it could be the little shift that was necessary for them to just start believing in themselves and having confidence to launch and run, make some bigger decisions. So that's really who it's for. And I'd say it's not for people who want to just be comfortable.
No. Well, I think if they've taken anything from the conversation today, that is certainly one of them, that you got to step outside of your comfort zone. And this event, the Millionaire Playbook, is definitely going to be a vehicle that's going to encourage you to do that, and also give you tangible ways to tools that you're going to be able to do that. So I'm so looking forward to next week. I can't wait myself even to be a student. That's also the great thing too. So I can't wait to come and share and teach and guide, but also absorb and learn myself. Katie, thank you for joining me today. It's been so great to connect with you. Where can people connect with you and find you?
Well, I keep it simple. Everything's my name.
Yes,
so
me too.
My Instagram, my website, everything's katiesampayo.com. So for sure there. And you will see here in the show notes, even on my website, we always offer a breakthrough coaching session for anybody who's wanting to understand how to get into a thriving state in their life and in their business, and start to identify what could be in the way, what could be in the gap. We offer a complimentary call for anybody who ever wants to explore what that could look like, working with one of our coaches. So that is my gift to anybody here. If you're feeling very inspired from this, you want to take aligned action, you want to grow and expand on this conversation, this is what we do. And that's my gift to anybody here, to actually offer some real one-on-one hands-on support to get in alignment and to start taking those next few steps.
I love that. So powerful and gracious of you. Make sure to click the show notes for all of the details. We'll link that up for you guys. And Katie, definitely going to have you come back too.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much.
If something in today's episode resonated with you or sparked a shift, tag me on IG or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what lands for you. And if it spoke to you, share it or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this show and step into their own wealthy era. Until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and stay wealthy.